So good morning, everyone. We are here today by Mr. Trash Wheel in the Baltimore Harbor to discuss the upcoming plastic bag ban that takes effect on October the 1st. I am glad to be joined today by our city administrator, Chris Shorter, comptroller Bill Henry, who sponsored this measure as a city councilman, as did I. We were one of a few council members that sponsored this one. Council President Nick Mosby, I know will be joined shortly by Delegate Stephanie Smith, who's also the Assistant Director for Equity Engagement and Communication in the Department of Planning, Lisa McNeely and Ava Richardson of the Baltimore Office of Sustainability, Adam Lindquist of the Waterfront Partnerships Healthy Harbor Initiative, John Racanelli, President and CEO of the National Aquarium, Rishi Shah and Emily Scar of the Maryland PIRG, Catherine Jackson, from Environment MD, and Mr. Mike Hankin, President and CEO of Brown Advisory, also Councilwoman Felicia Porter, who serves on our Sustainability Commission. Sustainability is a top priority for my administration. When we talk about laying the groundwork for a better future, that includes making Baltimore a greener city through policies that keep our neighborhoods clean and promote behavior change among our residents. That's why I supported the Comprehensive Bag Reduction Act when I was City Council President, and why I previously sponsored a bag bill. And I'm glad to have the bill's sponsor, Comptroller Henry, formerly the council member of the 4th District, standing with us today. The bag ban, which will take effect on October the 1st of this year, is about improving the environment of our city as we work toward a more sustainable and equitable future together. As we have seen throughout our lifetimes, plastic bags contribute a huge deal to litter across Baltimore. We see them in our trees. We see them litter across the landscape. We see them in parking lots outside of supermarkets where they've been used for purchases, and throughout our waterways. Hundreds of millions of plastic bags are thrown away every year, and less than 10% are recycled. So it is appropriate that we are here today in front of Mr. Trash Wheel, which has been working overtime to remove plastic from our waterways. Over the years, the Trash Wheels has collected over 830,000 plastic bags, and we hope to see this number decline significantly with the implementation of the bag ban. To help residents avoid the 5-cent fee that will be charged for a paper bag at point of sale, the city has created a program to distribute free reusable bags to those who need them. To date, over 16,000 bags have been handed out at food distribution sites and back-to-school events, and we have plans now to give away an additional 35,000 bags in the coming weeks across Baltimore. But this is Baltimore, and if you're true blue Baltimore like me, you already have a stash of bags underneath your sink. So feel free to make sure that you are putting them to use. Do that at your Giant. Also, we know we have Giant Marshalls totes that's hanging on the back of the door, places that you go to give out bags. Make sure that you use them and use them again and again, so that we are not contributing more litter and waste into our city. Any reusable bag that you see fit will work. If you are like my grandmother, she would say that they used to have a sack that they would carry their groceries in, and maybe we have to bring that back so that we can have a more sustainable future. This will be an adjustment for all of us, but I know it's a step that will help us move Baltimore forward towards a zero waste future. We know we can do this. When you look at cities like our sister city in D.C., they have had bag reduction things in works for over a decade now. And if you look at how clean the Anacostia River has come, Baltimore can be the next. We can do this. All we have to do is work together to accomplish it. I'd like to now turn it over to our guest today, beginning with the City Administrator, Chris Shorter, and ask everyone who comes up to introduce the person after them. The remarks are right. Who's following you is right on the podium here.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and good morning. I am Chris Shorter, and am very thrilled to be here this morning to join Mayor Scott, Council President Mosby, Comptroller Henry, and all of our esteemed colleagues in this announcement. The plastic bag ban initiative is the latest example of this government's commitment to a more sustainable Baltimore. We know that by taking action and making progress on our sustainability and resiliency goals, we set our great city on a path to be a cleaner, healthier, safer, and more equitable and prosperous place for all Baltimoreans. The commitment in today's announcement, in addition to today's announcement, the mayor has also championed the creation of a sustainability and resiliency sub-cabinet, which will be chaired by me. The purpose of this sub-cabinet is to provide a dedicated forum for strategic coordination and direction to enable the advancement of the goals stated in the Sustainability Plan, Climate Action Plan, and other related efforts across our city. We will focus initially on flooding and infrastructure, heat, climate, transportation, buildings, and solid waste. This sub-cabinet will be comprised of 15 senior government executives from across our city who will be laser focused on enhancing interagency coordination and collaboration within our government and leveraging the power of our entire government to make progress on climate, sustainability, and resiliency goals. I am so very proud and excited that this work is getting started and thankful for the mayor's leadership and continued commitment and support. Finally, I would like to acknowledge all the great work to date from our Director of Sustainability, Lisa McNeely, and our Sustainability Manager, Ava Richardson, who you will hear from in a few minutes, and their entire team who will continue to advance this work in the days and months ahead. I would now like to welcome to the podium our Comptroller Bill Henry, to give additional remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. Well, to recycle an old plastic bag ban joke, the 11th time's the charm, right? Although I probably shouldn't spend too much time up here or we're going to see a display of wind power. Over many years, he's seen too many of my routines. I've worked with numerous community residents, several different advocacy organizations to champion the Comprehensive Bag Reduction Act. I'm sorry, it was at Chris Shorter height. I'm very excited to see that effort pay off today. I also want to recognize Lisa McNeely and Ava Richardson and everybody in the staff at the city's Office of Sustainability. I want to thank Lori Schwartz and Adam Lindquist and their team at the Waterfront Partnership, John Racanelli, and everyone at the National Aquarium. I want to do a shout out for former Councilman Jim Kraft, who really got the ball rolling on this more than 15 years ago. Thank you, Jim. And also shout outs to Marilyn Perg, Environment Maryland, and all the folks at Blue Water Baltimore and Trash Free Maryland who couldn't be here today. By reducing our reliance on single-use plastic bags, we're able to better protect neighborhood green spaces, public parks, and our waterways. We're not going to put Mr. Trash Wheel and his family out of business, but we do want to try to reduce the heavy lifting with this legislation. That's good news for anyone who enjoys seafood, who enjoys water sports, or really just the harbor itself. The mayor and I have worked on this idea together for most of the last 10 years, and I want to take this opportunity to applaud his leadership in helping to move it through the City Council and into law. We will still have to guide and support our area grocery stores, our corner shops, and other retail businesses, all still dealing with the fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic through these first few months of implementation. They'll need our help, and we'll need their feedback to execute this program efficiently and effectively. That's so vital to our goals. But I know that the Comprehensive Bag Reduction Act will be successful if residents, businesses, and government all listen to each other and work together. And with that, I'd like to bring up Council President Nick Mosby.
Good morning. Today we celebrate a major step towards reducing trash that fills our alleyways, clogs our drains, and won't break down within our lifetime. And we're talking about plastic bags. They contribute to unnecessary community waste and litter. They clog up, again, our ocean and our waterways, and their production relies heavily on fossil fuel extraction that results in significant emissions of greenhouse gases. This is about the future. This is not about today. And sometimes simple proposals can provide important innovation for us protecting the lives of our loved ones, but more importantly, for the lives of the children that are unborn. Today, we celebrate this major step, and I celebrate it with my partners in progress. That is nothing that I say lightly. That is something that I hold wholeheartedly. Because when we talk about unifying our city, we talk about moving our city in a new trajectory, it's about that unification. That's why I stand committed with the mayor, as well as with the bill sponsor, in support of the previous council's bill to ban plastic bags. Now, like many of the folks in our communities are going to have concerns. I do as well. And that's about ensuring that we protect our most vulnerable residents, ensuring that this does not become a regressive tax that further cripples them coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I have full confidence in the mayor's team, especially the Office of Sustainability, to meet the needs of, again, our most vulnerable residents, while we also strive to address the important changes we need to confront our climate change. The mayor is carrying out this will, again, of the previous council, driven by the alarming statistics that we know. Right now in the U.S., we throw away enough plastic to fill a football stadium 1.5 times every single day. Plastic bags are used for only on average 12 minutes each, but take up to 500 years to degrade. Plastic can be recycled, but only 8% of it is. 92% fills up our landfills, our incinerators, and litter and debris around our city. I'm encouraged that the office stated goals is to intentionally use equity lens in their approach of integrating social equity and the environment and our economy. Our residents need to bring their bags when they're shopping, as the mayor stated, whether they're under your sink, whether they're in your basement. This is a change of lifestyle, but it's an important change, again, for generations yet unborn. And city leaders need to continue to work with organizational groups and our neighborhoods to ensure that the appropriate bags are distributed, and we continue this. To the business community, to nonprofit organizations, let's ensure that our most vulnerable residents are protected, and that we transition into this much needed policy as effectively, as efficiently, and equitably as possible. With that, I would like to call up the person that is kind of behind the scenes in orchestrating this from the Office of Sustainability. I would like to call on Ms. Ava Richardson, the manager of the Office of Sustainability.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Council President Mosby, for that introduction. I am so happy to be here as we prepare for the city's plastic bag ban. You know, as Mayor Scott mentioned, too often we see plastic bags lining our streets and in our communities and clogging our storm drains. But Baltimore's plastic bag bans is actually one of the many steps that we as a city can take towards zero waste goals across our city. My colleagues and I in the Baltimore Office of Sustainability are proud to have a mayor and city leadership that supports smart environmental policies like this. So thank you. The plastic bag ban is outlined as a key goal in our 2019 sustainability plan, and it builds on our 2018 polystyrene or foam ban. These are carving a path to a more sustainable Baltimore. Don't ever let anyone tell you that Baltimore is not making progress, because these are indeed signs of change. I want to thank again Mayor Scott and his administration, as well as Comptroller Henry and all of our colleagues in the Baltimore Office of Sustainability for their continued dedication and vision for sustainability across our city. And I want to remind everyone again to please bring your reusable bags beginning immediately. If you go to the store tonight, bring your reusable bag. We have some here for you today. Make sure you bring your reusable bags, and I hope to see you out there. Thank you again so much for your support, and thank you again to our city leadership. And now I want to introduce Adam Lindquist from the Healthy Harbor Initiative with the Waterfront Partnership.
All right, good morning, everybody. Mr. Trash Wheel is so happy to see you all here today. In fact, he sent me a prepared statement that I will read in just a moment. But first, some more statistics. As you heard from the mayor, since 2014, Mr. Trash Wheel has picked up over 830,000 plastic bags from the Baltimore Harbor. That's enough plastic to make 200 hot air balloons, or to cover the Ravens football field in plastic 54 times. So when our friends at the National Aquarium and Trash Free Maryland and Baltimore Beyond Plastics, among others, reached out to us about partnering on a bag ban, we were in. Indeed, as you've heard, some of us have been working on this legislation for over a decade. We anticipate the bag ban will have a big impact on our waterways. Some here may be aware that we are about to reach the 1-year anniversary of the statewide ban on foam containers, a law that started here in Baltimore. Since that foam ban went into effect, the number of foam containers picked up by Mr. Trash Wheel has dropped by over 80%. So these bans work. All right, now let me read the statement from Mr. Trash Wheel, if you can have it here. Sorry. It's written on trash. All right, he says, humans, I may eat garbage for a living, but I know the taste of success, for I am tasting it today. If you could see what these googly eyes have seen, you would understand the importance of this legislation to my animal friends and the health of my home. I vow to continue to be the greatest trash wheel the world has ever seen, and not to stop churning until we are free from the scourge of single-use plastics. From the bottom of my dumpster, I thank you. And on behalf of the Waterfront Partnership of Baltimore and Clearwater Mills, we thank you, Mayor Scott, Comptroller Henry, and Council President Mosby, for leading on this issue and taking the health of our communities and our waterways so seriously. And with that, I'm happy to introduce my friend and colleague, President and CEO of the National Aquarium, John Roccanelli. John? Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. And by the way, I just kissed Professor Trash Wheel goodbye as I left my house this morning, and she didn't want to be left out of this event either. So it's said that great things take time. This must be a very great thing we're doing here. And we are very pleased to be a part of it and excited today. We can't continue to accept, as you've heard from all of my colleagues, the level of plastic pollution in our communities, with nearly 9 million tons of plastic entering the ocean every year. If we were to continue producing and discarding plastic at our present rate, this is one of the saddest factoids you'll hear, by 2050 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. I like fish. I think many of us like to eat fish, and I think none of us would like the idea of having to eat plastic instead. We can't recycle our way out of this, as you've heard. So our responsibility to the future is really all about getting the plastic, stopping plastic pollution before it starts. And we're committed to continue doing our part with our colleagues and with our city, our county, and our state to stop plastic pollution via initiatives that we've already started and those that we will start. We've eliminated all single-use plastics from our operations across our operation, which has really made a big difference for us. We continue to be very much involved in all the cleanups that our city, that our colleagues at the Waterfront Partnership and other agencies have launched. And we will continue to advocate for important policies like this leading initiative that's happening right here in Baltimore. So with that, I also want to thank our mayor, our comptroller, our city council, all of our colleagues, some of the people that have quietly sweated this out for years, like Lori Schwartz, Mike Hankin, and others with the Waterfront Partnership. Thank you. And not to forget a good friend of ours in the Capitol, Sarah Elfreth, who has done a lot for resiliency in this state and also plays a part in this and will continue to. And with that, thank you. We look forward to a cleaner future, and I'll pass it back to you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir, and thank you to the National Aquarium, who has been a key partner, as you know, in our efforts to not only reduce plastic bag waste, but who contribute to the overall mission of making Baltimore cleaner and greener. I also want to thank our partners, BGE and Environment Maryland, who donated tens and thousands of bags that were distributed across the city. Their contributions will help many low-income households across the city adopt a new bag habit. And we know that our residents here in Baltimore deserve to live in clean neighborhoods free of debris, trash, and litter. The implementation of the citywide plastic bag ban is not just an important step towards a cleaner Baltimore, but an exciting opportunity for all of our residents to do their part to improve our environment. This could be our version of trash ball for this generation. Though we may not see the fruits of our labor today, I look forward to leaving behind a healthier environment for the generations of tomorrow. As a reminder, residents and retailers can find more information about the ban at baltimoresustainability.org. And with that, we will take a few questions. Dan? No
I
one.
didn't know who Dan was.
No, I'm looking. No, you're good.
In relation to small businesses, what is the city doing to either work with them to help facilitate going bagless, and what type of accountability will inspectors be going out, making sure just to hold those small businesses accountable, specifically liquor stores, maybe mom and pop takeouts?
Yeah, there will be enforcement on all levels, and we continuously, the sustainability office, all of our departments have been working specifically with businesses to hear what they need. This is not going to, as you heard from the comptroller, myself, and the president, this is a culture change for our entire city. We know that they're going to be growing things, but we're going to be working with all of our partners to make sure that they're ready for this. Much of the way, because I think it's important, when we did the styrofoam ban a few years ago, everyone, you weren't there, but so many people were asking questions like, you guys are going to drive these people out of business, everyone's going to go out of business, it's the end of the world. And you just heard the numbers. The city's a cleaner place, and what happens, as always happens with big pieces of legislation like this, the city did it, then the state did it. When the city banned indoor smoking, the state banned indoor smoking. That's how these things happen. We're going to work to make sure that we're impacting our residents and our businesses in a positive way.
But what specifically will it look like? Will inspectors be going in, like for the health department, for instance,
We
and
always,
check out?
yeah,
What will that look like?
we're going to have inspections going in. We're going to do all of that work that we normally do for enforcement of any rule and regulation like this. Thank you. Alexa?
Two questions, one on topic, one off topic. In the month of September.
I'm surprised, Alexa. I'm
Sorry.
shocked.
In the month of September, we've had 25 homicides in 22 days, 11 homicides in just 1 week. I know you tweeted that you met with the commissioner, but as we sit here with this announcement with the plastic bag ban, what's being done in the immediate to address that crime?
So I think that what you see for us as a police department, you can see the amount of people that they arrested for homicide just in the past week. You can see consistently what we're doing with the gun arrests, with the people, you know, for example, we had that fatal stabbing homicide last week on York Road. That case has already been closed and put down. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to have the officers in the right case. Unfortunately, sometimes having police officers there isn't enough. But what we're going to continue to do is make sure that we hunt these people down and hold them accountable. And as I told you yesterday, work to make sure that as we go through the rest of the justice system, that we're working with our partners to make sure that these people don't end up back out on the street. For example, we should not be having folks who were arrested in another jurisdiction on serious cases end up in Baltimore City being arrested by us or the victims of crime in our city.
Are you outraged by that? Those numbers?
Of course I'm outraged by that. I'm outraged that we find people dead in our city with ankle monitor bracelets on. That's why, again, you've heard me talk about why we brought back the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, why we're working with our partners at the state, why the governor has agreed to send his people back in for those important conversations, that we develop strategies together to figure out how to close those gaps, because not one person can make a decision that stops those things from happening.
That 5%, how will the city be utilizing that money, that tax revenue?
That like everything else, it goes back into the general fund. So we don't do these things and say like, oh, we're going to do it for this. It goes into the general fund and is appropriated through the budgeting process like everything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mayor Scott. I also have two questions. One is, so, with the pandemic, more and more people are ordering groceries online. How will the bag ban be implemented there? I know sometimes if you order from Whole Foods, they'll give you like a plastic bubble thing to keep things cold. Will those be permissible?
I'm actually going to turn. I believe the same thing applies, right? There's no difference online or not.
Okay, great. And then second question is, you talked about the issue of litter. Just kind of anecdotally as a city resident, I walk around the park and see litter pretty much everywhere. Is this something that's on your radar? And what do you plan to do about the issue of litter?
This is why we're creating this subcabinet, part of the subcabinet for sustainability, because we know this is also why we're pushing out DPW to look at how we can do better at removing trash and litter, removing illegal dumping, looking at all the things that we can do there. But we also have to, as city residents, have to have a conversation with ourselves about how we are treating our neighborhoods, right? I know that I get sick and tired of seeing 70, 80-year-old women cleaning up blocks of trash that I know that they didn't throw out there, and we have people that are my age and younger sitting there watching them. We need people to understand, when I talk to the young people in school who always say that one of the things that they hate is that people just throw down trash, and they see people throwing trash out of the cars. And I said, well, we have to have a conversation with your parents, because every single dollar that goes into DPW cleaning up trash or cleaning up properties that the city doesn't own, for me, I equate that as money that could have been going into the future of our city and into our young people.